Now that I have you, let's do the podcast. Cue the intro. So, guys, as being an artist, and especially a 3D artist, it's really important that you guys pay attention to the visuals. And especially if you guys know someone who's running an e commerce store. And Mr. Osama over here today, who I'm in conversation with, is going to be explaining everything over here why visuals are important from a sales perspective.
So visuals are quite important. I mean, today's day and age, people don't really have that much of an attention span, or they have too much to do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and just relying on a sales copy or just relying on a text. No offense to my copywriting community over here, but text alone, the best copy alone, it's not gonna cut it, bro. This is not gonna cut it in today's day and age. You need to have visuals, and you need to have a good copy. And today, combining all of them, it's sales copy on Super Saiyan mode. So that's it. I mean, don't you agree, man?
I do agree 100% because you have seen these cases, I've seen these cases. A lot of the people, even they're selling on Amazon, and what they're doing, they're basically drop shipping. They make their own good visuals, they put it on Amazon, and they just copy the whole text that the seller has put up. And why does that product sell? Just because of the visuals.
I mean, even if you let go of the drop shipping and you talk purely about the online stores that are making their own brand and who rely on the marketing, who rely on themselves for the marketing. I mean, invest on visuals, man. Invest on good visuals, because this is what hooks your audience. I mean, let's be honest, people these days are zombies. They scroll like zombies, they go and go and go, they don't stop. What makes them stop? Maybe an animation, maybe a good visual, or maybe a stunning hook on your video that makes them go, I'm gonna watch it. And the hook can be anything that you want. I mean, Hassan is going to cover that stuff. So you have to hook your audience. You have to hook your audience with visual, emotionally evoking enough that the user is like, this is it, man. I just want it. I just want to watch it today. And this is pretty much it. I mean, visuals are pretty stunning. A hook in a visual is even better.
Osama, I do agree with your point. I mean, just look at the recent Razer commercial that we made. I mean, it was a fan commercial, but yet again, why was it so captivating? Just because of the first visual hook, which was the door opening. And just because of that, what we saw, people were hooked, because this is something what Razer already did. And just because of that, people actually believed this is a real product and we work for Razer. What does that mean? Instead of making the wheel again from scratch, just copy the blueprint that people have already done. There are tons and tons of animations online. See it and try to replicate it to your best ability possible. Just like we did.
I mean, replicating the model, not stealing it.
Exactly.
Because I have seen people who steal stuff, who don't have creativity enough to make their own concepts. And it's okay, but don't steal. Take inspiration from it. Make your own stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, I was attending Russell Brunson's latest ClickFunnels. I guess it was Sales Funnels event, and he said something very interesting. He said, like, hey, I'm giving you different funnels. You combine all. You take 3 of them. You combine them. You make your own stuff, and he says something like, thou shalt ClickFunnels. I mean, they're not sponsored by ClickFunnels. It doesn't make sense. It is, but cut this part.
Sponsor him, Russell. Sponsor him.
I mean, I would gladly say that. But this is not it. So the thing is that most people, what they fail to realize is that they think marketing in visuals as expenditure. What happens is that you are thinking of visuals, animation, a good video, a good editing as an expenditure. But you should not be doing that, because at the end of the day, it is an investment. you invest into it, you get value, and you get results out of it. Okay, you get massive results out of it. And if you don't do that, things are not that good for you. I mean, I know a friend. He's doing pretty good in e-commerce. He's working with different investors from abroad, and he's successfully running different stores. It was not the case back then. It was not the case a few months ago, a year ago, I guess. So what happened was that he launched his Shopify store, and he invested in everything. I mean, that guy had ads. He had a good Shopify store. The website's performance was pretty good.
I mean, isn't this the guy that you told me about who got the CRM made from an international company?
Now that's another one.
Oh, that's another one. Okay.
So the thing is that he had everything right. Everything right. What you can imagine. But he didn't invest in good visuals. And what happened was that his Shopify store went to smoke. It went to smoke. It poof went away. And people pour their heart and soul into making these stores, and starting their e-commerce journey, starting their brand. They have a good story, and I like it. Most of these stores, most of these online businesses, their stories are really inspiring. But when you are trying to connect to your audience, your customers, you want to connect with them, okay? And an animation, a video ad, a video commercial, I mean, to be non-biased to animation, but even a good edited video, it helps them connect with their audience in a much better way.
Good content takes a brand really, really long way. I mean, recently, I don't know how many people know about it, but McDonald's Japan doubled their sales with one trick. You know what they did?
What did they do?
They made a whole commercial out of an anime.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So, what does that mean? Visuals sell. So, I'm going to be telling you guys how you can sell your customer's product with visuals. It's pretty simple. Show the environment, show the product, then the environment, then the product. And why do we do that? Osama, since you know a little bit about sales psychology, I would put you through the test.
I think it's something it has to do with, getting their attention, retaining their attention. Hey, stop. Now that was a hook. I got your attention. That's a hook. And that's the first thing. After that, whatever Hassan just explained, the transitions, that retains their attention. And, the good stuff, man. The good stuff. The attention is there. You are able to connect with the audience. You are able to say what you say. You are going to show what you want to show. And I think that's pretty magical.
It is.
But you said how to retain an attention. But how are you going to grab that attention in an animation, in a video? Because you have a VFX background as well.
Exactly.
So stop. He's gonna tell about the hook later on, but Hassan, could you please tell us some more about how you retain that attention, some more stuff that you implement in your animations?
Okay. So, as much as I've seen, I'm mostly making animations for Instagram and also for YouTube as well. And what I've actually seen is on Instagram, people can only stick for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. If you can hook them for 3 seconds, they're gonna watch your entire video. And in the first 3 seconds, what I usually do is I try to make my animations, if I'm specifically making it for Instagram, the visual hook should be so great, people should be like, okay, I wanna know what's gonna happen next. Just look at the videos that are going viral on Instagram nowadays. You use Instagram, I use Instagram, you even use Instagram. But the thing is, the videos that are going viral are the balloon videos, where a balloon is gonna be rolling down, and as soon as it pops, you have to guess the color, what color of water is in the balloon. Why does it go viral? It's curiosity.
There's another hook that works pretty well. everywhere. And Hassan is pretty, first of all, I must say Hassan is very generous. I did ask him to give you away the hook later, but okay, we are continuing the conversation. So another hook that I saw was that, some viral video from TikTok, something, the initial seconds of that video, is it might be a dance, it might be anything. And what happens is that it smoothly transitions, to the person, telling you about their product or their service or whatever they want you to educate you about. I mean, that's a pretty genius hook. I mean, I first saw that an Indian guy implementing that. He teaches what's that, app development or web development. No, what does he teach?
Who?
I don't remember his name, but that guy teaches something about coding. I don't know, man. So how he starts stuff is that he starts by, a video plays where some girl is dancing. Okay, that's the hook. Uh, and then when the viewer is trying to watch the full dance, that guy pops in, completing the step whatever the girl was doing, and was like, "Hey, enough of the dance. Now we're gonna study more about coding." You get my point. This is just one example of how magical hooks can be. So Hassan, could you please tell me some more examples of how you grab that attention,
Okay, I mean,
so that even the animators or the video editors or the people who want to do it themselves for their brands, what advice would you give to them?
well, if I have to give a concrete advice that could help you out in the longer run, is one thing: make people curious. Because as they say, curiosity kills the cat. So, what does that mean? Before you reveal the product or before you reveal your whole animation, there should be a small snippet. People should get hooked to it. I mean, recently, one of my videos, which was basically a tutorial on Instagram, went up to 64,000 views. And why was that so? Because what was my hook? Here's how I made this lighting setup under 1 minute. It's sitting at 64,000 views, and mind you, my Instagram doesn't even have 2,000 followers yet.
Back then it did not even have 500 followers.
Exactly, it was like 300 followers at that time.
I mean, it feels so nostalgic.
I know. But anyways, I mean, the hook is really important, but you need to make people curious. Curiosity will get you 100 times further than your competitors. And if you're able to sell that in your visuals, oh, dude, you're a gold mine.
I mean, I think the value proposition is too high for people not to realize that if a video editor or an animator or if a graphic designer is doing a good job, you better increase their pay, man. I mean, they're generating a lot of money.
That's a whole nother issue. But by the way, you talked about art theft.
I think this is a conversation you should have with Talha Hasib.
Now, since we have your attention, Mr. Osama, what do you propose for the people? What should they do to make their content engaging in the text form?
In the text form, I mean, it's about getting their attention using a headline. Give them something to think about. Give them something. Tell them what they are going to get in the in the entire copy. I mean, you can use different headlines or hooks. For example, people use here's how I did this. Or also something that's my favorite, that first they challenge by saying something. For example, I said something like, hey, for example, one of my hooks for a LinkedIn post was, hey, you're losing tons of cash on ads. This can be a hook. Or for example, I could say copywriting doesn't work anymore. That's a challenge. I gotta justify that. That's a sales copy format. That's a whole other thing. But what you do is that also you give a bit of value what they are going to get, and then you go on by crafting your copy in a way that you say something which opens a loop,
Hmm.
and then bit by bit you keep their attention. You don't close the loop, you open it so that people stay curious, and then at the end you give them the valuable stuff.
Hmm.
So this way you can keep their attention. But again I would say combine that with good visuals, and I think people can do magic for their brands.
Exactly. And yet again, coming to your challenge part. So let's just say if you're just scrolling through Instagram or even through LinkedIn, for Osama's example over here, and you see that post like copywriting is dead, and you being a copywriter, you're gonna be like, wait, what does he mean? You'll obviously get curious. Then you'll open it up, then you'll read the whole thing. So your sales copy and your visuals go hand in hand. So if you have good copy, you're like 25% in the game. But if you have good visuals, you're 50% ahead of your whole competition.
Copywriters are gonna murder you, man.
Ayo.
I got you covered, bros. I am here.
I always have my meat shield with me. Well, I guess that does it for this podcast. See you guys in the next one. Bye.